Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Shaking up the martini. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Get Sauce. I gotta get it back in my bones. Here we are, it's fall. This weekend, TheatreWorks Hartford is launching our 2021 streaming season. We're real excited about that, so we're all a little crazy. So I'm pouring myself the classic Rob Martini so we can take some of the edge off. I did. I made it. Belvedere, frosty from the freezer, 3 olives. Cheers and welcome. I got some sauce on the stove. Thought I would make some sauce in honor of the first Get Sauced. Before I bring my guest on, let me tell you, hi David Kaplan. Let me tell you what's going to happen with Get Sauced, because we have a lot going on. We're going to do it once a month for now, and we're going to do it the week before, the Thursday before, hopefully, the week before the streaming of the next show starts. That way, I could bring a guest on that's maybe a member of the creative team or a theater person who connects with the subject or theme of the show. So it's going to be fun. Hey, hi, welcome. So let me see if my guest is there somewhere. I don't see it yet. Okay. Looking for him. So if you haven't, I'm going to do it at the beginning again. You know I don't usually do this, but if you're interested in hearing about, there's our guest. Hey. If you're interested in hearing about our streaming season, go to twhartford.org. And we're doing this really cool membership model. There's a monthly, there's an annual, and we have a lot of things going on, so I hope you'll join us. So now that I see my guest popped on, I'm going to give him his drum roll. My guest tonight is a playwright and an actor, and I first got to know him after casting him in The Most Happy Fella down at Goodspeed. And I think there's a little story there we might talk about, but cast him there. He made his Broadway debut in On Your Feet, the story of Emilio and Gloria Estefan. He's also the playwright of 26 Pebbles, and he wrote the book for the musical Passing Through, which was developed at Goodspeed's Norma Terrace. And he has written the book for the musical adaptation of Brian Farrell's play, Molly Sweeney. Okay, gonna try and find him. Welcome to my kitchen. Eric, here he comes.
Hi.
Okay, I didn't say your last name because I thought I was gonna say it wrong. I always say Ulloa, but it's not.
Ulloa.
Say it.
Ulloa.
Ulloa.
There you
See,
go.
I was going to mess it up.
Hey, that's why
Eric Ulloa, the passionate and talented. How are you?
I'm good.
All right, so thank you for coming on, for being my first guest this season.
I'm excited to be the first guest.
I'm so excited to have you. So let's start with what you've been up to. Have you been writing? I'm sure you've been writing because you came from a writer's room, I think, or something like that.
I did.
So what have you been doing right now? What's going on?
You know, it's funny. It's been it's first of all, what a crazy year. Like, who the hell predicted a pandemic in 2009? Like, who thought in 2019? I remember I saw you right before New Year's up in Provincetown.
I know.
Who knew?
New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve weekend.
Yeah, we were going to be toasting in a pandemic.
I know, we were so excited about the year to come, but you know, there's silver linings, right?
No, there is, and that's part of it. Is that, you know, in 2020, like, as far as how crazy it's been, the good thing on the acting side, look, zilch. You know, that the and that's where my heart bleeds for everybody, you know, in the acting community and every other facet of that, because it's just an impossibility right now. And but on the writing end, like, the good thing is that that world does not stop, because projects continue, and especially with film and TV things, that has continued. So it's actually been a never-ending 7 months, like, just nonstop, which has been great. So I've been writing basically since March.
Well, there's a lot of I use the word, I guess, loosely, inspiration, or at least thing. You know, there's basically two pandemics going on, and I know that you're, you know, very active, and we'll get to some of that, but it just, as a writer in this time, and I feel like a positive word would be transformative. It's a transformative time, but as a writer in this time, an actor and a writer, but as a writer, I don't know, like, are you using your connection to all of this emotion, to what's going on, or are you trying to kind of escape?
I mean, I think in some ways, like, you know, we have, and we'll get to all this, but we have, like, next week on Playbill is the Viva Broadway Hear Our Voices concert, which I'm so excited about. And that was one of those things that was something that was going to happen. It was actually going to happen at, like, the Minskoff, or one of those things, in this giant, you know, actual concert. And I was asked to write it, and then it kind of fizzled away. And that was one of the things, one of the tragedies that happened, that I was like, oh, that breaks my heart. Like, it was such a big, not only opportunity, but as a Latino, like, it's just something that was it meant so much to me. And then out of nowhere, they were like, you know what, the hell with it. We're going to go and we're going to do this virtual, and because of that, it became larger than ever. And that is where I got to use a lot of, what's been going on, like the second pandemic, which I think is our pandemic of accountability, and having to understand that we're not doing things correctly, and that everyone needs to stop and listen and just learn. And that's helped me. That helped shape that script, because right away when we did, when Sergio Trujillo and I met to talk about this idea, I said to him, I go, look, I have three things. It will not be pineapples, ruffled skirts, and whippa. We are not. and so he and he was like, no, this is why I called you. He goes, I know you. I know how you write. He goes, and I do not want that. And so actually, it was a great calling card, because whenever I would talk to one of the talents to work on the script, or, you know, one of these celebrities, I would say to them, look, it is not pineapples, ruffled skirts, and whippa.
So while we're here, though, like let's put a pin in it. So how do we connect with it? How do we get to it? Like, give us the lowdown on the project. Yeah.
Yeah. So next Thursday, 1 week from today, 8 p.m. on Playbill.com. You can also go on I think Playbill's YouTube channel, but go to Playbill.com. You can go directly to it. It is, when I tell you that, like, there's an excitement. There's also I'm watching it all come together, which is amazing, because it's been such an incredible experience working with him and the team, and Ruthie at Playbill, and Jaime Lozano working on the music, and Luis Salgado, all of them, the Broadway League too. Like, they've just been amazing letting us do this in such a large way. And like I said, because it is virtual, anybody famous that's Latin is in this. Like, it is.
I saw some of the lists on your poster.
The very first person in it, and my cursor on my computer is blinking after the word Lin-Manuel enters. Cursor blinked.
I know. My God.
3 hours, and I went, well, what the hell do I write? I don't know what to write, you know, for Lin-Manuel. And, you know, then just going online and getting to know, like, I got to know Lin a little through On Your Feet in Hamilton. We shared an alleyway. So they came over quite a bit. And because a lot of our cast was from In the Heights, he was there quite a bit. So I got to know him and been learning people's voices. And then just, like, Gloria Estefan, obviously I know her in that, but, like, Talia, John Cicada, Antonio Banderas, like, and I'm, like, writing their words. And Chita Rivera, I mean, like, that was
wow.
one. I will say that was one that I called Sergio and I go, hey, I just had a meltdown at Madison Square Park, because I opened up my phone and the video of her doing 6 takes of the script to make sure it was perfect was on the inbox, and I'm watching Chita Rivera at this age
your words,
word for word, word perfect, and honoring that. And when I tell you, I fell over in the park and started crying, and some lady walked by and went, "Sir, are you all right?"
You know, but I mean, she is like, she's on that list, right? Of one of the greats. Like, you're in the presence of a star. I actually was close to her. She was honored at one of the Goodspeed galas, you know, and it was so close. And everybody was trying to talk to her. And I kicked myself for weeks later that I didn't go up because I just didn't want to be that person. But I wanted to say, I regret it now because now, like, when you get that opportunity, she was like literally a table away, but just to like be there, you're like, it's like theater royalty. But she's earned it. Like, amazing triple threat, right?
It's really amazing. Like without, because I don't want to give away like the numbers because it's really, but it is. I call it simply this. It's a love letter to the Latino community of Broadway, of where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. And it's not like, it's just, these people like Lucy Arnaz, Daphne Irvin Vega, I sat on the phone and talked to them for like 40 minutes each or an hour each. And just hearing like Lucy telling me stories of Lucy and Desi growing up with them. My mother, who's watching right now, actually.
Hello, Mom.
I saw them pop up on there. My mom called me and goes, "Tell her I have all the DVDs." I go, "I'm not going to say that. I'm not." But I will let her know that we're Cuban.
But I want to bring, because it's funny, one of my things that I have here is that you've talked about your family as immigrants from Cuba and the social limits placed on them, and in particular, how internal culture limited. Like, for instance, I think you said this, your grandmother was actually wanted to be a professional singer.
Well, my grandmother had a beautiful, I don't know if she wanted to be a professional singer. She had a really beautiful voice. And she always wanted to sing. My mother used to always tell me, when I got to know my grandmother, it was more, sadly, my grandmother died when I was like 14, 15. Wow. So I had a time with her, you know, and when you're a kid, I think you take your grandparents for granted. You play with them, but you don't get to, like, one of my biggest, you know, regrets is that I didn't get to sit down with all my grandparents who are now passed and say, let's click the, you know, the recorder on and just tell me everything. You know,
do you know what's so interesting, Eric? It's so funny that you say that. Like, when I was a freshman in undergrad, like decades ago, I did it because we had a class. And I took down the oral history from my grandmother and I found it. Oh. And I'm so sorry you didn't get to do that because that's where the oral history lives. So I hope you're doing that with your mom who's watching.
I am with my mom and dad. You know, it's funny. I'm working on a film project now that I am sworn to secrecy on, but it has to do with my culture.
Oh no, just you can tell us. It's
okay. No, I can't. Oh, pay that lawsuit. I can't.
I'm kidding.
But my father actually has been of great help in helping you know, go back to Cuba and really give me some amazing descriptive details and helping the writer I'm working with on this film. And it's been amazing just kind of talking to him and getting to, like, call him up and being like, airports, what were they like? You know, or like, and just hearing details. Like, I mean, he sat there with 45 minutes with me asking him, like, the tablecloth, tell me that. Did the napkins match? What were the, you know, like, really descriptive stuff.
In your family, is there a person or persons who most I mean, did you know you were an actor, an artist, or right? Like, as a kid, like, who is there anybody in your lineage? Because there's nobody that I know of behind me. Was there someone in your family that inspired you?
Well, it's my mother's side was they were the artists, but like they always were like. They were, and she'll correct me now, I'm sure on the screen if I'm wrong, but they were always like something else. I think just the world around them, circumstance, or consumed by just the demons, you know, that happen, did not allow them to fully see to fruition their artistry. So I'm the first of anyone in my family to be able to make a living as an artist, and you know, I have an uncle, a great uncle, that I met, we didn't know he existed until I was about like 10 or 11, and he came over from Cuba, and he has been now kind of reactivated into our lives, and I just saw him during the holidays, and He's very sweet, and he gets very emotional about the fact that I am not only an artist, but an artist that's thriving and having a circumstantial career in this world, because that's what he did when he was younger and always wanted to go further. And he knows that my mother's side of the family, there are so many artists that just did not get to see their voice get to have its full fruition.
Yeah, and you are like speaking for them, and they must be so proud, and that what follows you will be as great as all the wonderful things you're doing. Because man, I really, you know how we met and you keep people in your life, and we've always stayed connected, and
Yeah.
I have great admiration for your, the fact that you're a socially engaged artist, but you're also a passionate, articulate visionary, and so it's exciting.
No, I feel about you. I've always said the same thing about that. You know, we beat from the same heart, and your shows on stage, the one that I've been in and the ones that I've seen, they show your heart's all over the stage. You know very well, it pours out all over the stage.
That's a good little thank you. I'm gonna bring out. You know, you were a pop-on guest, your first Get Sauce, so I'm gonna for a moment, because I want to talk about the most happy fella, and I'm sure you know what I want to talk about, and get on to some more things. But before I pop you off for a minute, Playbill, next Thursday, playbill.com is the place to get all the info. And the title is, again, just say it out loud.
The Broadway Hear Our Voices. It's a huge fundraiser for Broadway Cares, which goes into Broadway Bridges, which brings underprivileged children to the theater for the first time.
Oh, amazing. Don't go away.
I'm here.
Don't let me lose you. I'll be right back. All right. Gonna bring on a little guest if I can find. Oh, there she is. Where are you? There we are. Okay, I'm bringing on my producing associate and dear friend, Anisha Dugan. Hey!
This is crazy.
You're on not because you're my producing associate. You're on because you are the direct. Hello. Okay, we got some story there. You tell like the Get Sauce peeps like what you're doing and why you're on.
So I'm on one to say hi to Eric. Hi, Eric. We're so happy to have you on Get Sauce. And Eric is sort of connected to the playwright that wrote At the River I Stand, which is the project that starts streaming on Sunday. This handsome fellow is our editor for our remote projects, and we are deep in the weeds. But I wanted to invite you guys to come and check out the stream if you haven't already gotten your membership. Say hi to Rob and share our love with Eric.
So At the River I Stand is the name of the show, our first show of the season, and really the first piece in our, I want to say this right, workshop series.
The workshop, yes.
And and can you just quickly tell people something quick about this? It's a musical. We started off with a musical.
We're so crazy, but it's exciting. It's a really cool, intended to be immersive when it actually makes it back out into the world. New musical set in Memphis in 1968. And it deals with artists and how artists take moments like these and handle it, deal with it, and share it out to the world so we can sort of deal with it too. It's beautiful.
And I can't wait. I've heard pieces and seen pieces, but it's not even fully edited yet. But we start streaming. All right, you better do a good job. I'm counting on you.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun.
And Sunday, start streaming on Sunday. And just to plug our own space, you can either become a member or you could buy a single ticket stream at twhartford.org.
You got it. You know, you talked a lot about new form, and I'll tell you one thing. Having rehearsals and recording this stuff over the weekend and now stepping into this editing suite with Alonzo, we are innovating new form, and it's incredible. So shout out to you, Boo.
Shout out to you, Boo.
All right.
All right, I'll let you get back to work.
All right.
And I'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my God, she's so amazing. Bringing Eric back on. Tanisha is become near and dear to my heart and everybody at Theater Works Hartford. And you see the connection. That's why you're the guest.
I love that.
you know, we tried to kind of connect an artist with what we're doing and kind of responding to the moment. And we're trying to be brave and create new form. And we don't know, it's all in like new territory. And it's totally terrifying and totally exciting.
I think it's so, seriously, I was just listening now and I was like, you know, like, there's a testament to the artist and what the artist just does inherently, and we're so damn good at it that to give the artist a pat on our backs. We adapt faster than anybody. We really, because we know that art is necessity, and I think because of that, we find the necessity. Like if you look at like even simple like I'm watching these videos come together for Aviva and other things, and like the technology that existed in March and now is completely different. Everyone has found a way to up the ante so much.
Oh my God, we're Russian Troll Farm, which is the second piece we're doing in October, which just started rehearsals today, is really exploring this really exciting new technology, new ways to light artists from home. Like it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. But before we get on, I want to talk about some of the stuff you've written and a little bit of current events. And we're going to end with the game. You know, we always end with a game.
Ready.
And it's a good one. My artistic associate, Eric Ulloa, did. And it's really cool. But the most happy fella, okay, and I still have the video footage. So if anybody out there dares me, what happened that fateful rehearsal? And I'll just say 2 words, the song Fresno Beauties.
So we decided that, you know, we were starting to run the show and running acts, and so the very top of Act 2, right?
Top of Act 2, Fresno Beauties.
We all the guys were all in the wine, you know, we're all in the fields and we're working and, you know, and doing the harvest, and so we decided that we would give Rob a little treat and the cat, everybody there, and we decided to we all started stripping. So it started off with the guy that played Joey, and he took off his shirt, and then all the guys, as we're doing the scene, just started taking off our shirts one by one, and to see Rob's face turn so red.
The whole room was like the stage. I don't know who knew about it.
Everyone,
stage manager, cast, what?
Everyone but you knew.
No.
Yeah.
Really? Oh my God. I'm such a pushover. Like I don't even, like things could go, but like it was so funny. And it was that thing you needed at that time in rehearsal where things were getting like pressured and, you know, we're getting to run through that we were in, but and really finessing. And it was such a good laugh. And lovely Mamie Paris, because you remember that was a surprise. Was it a surprise to you guys?
No.
At the very end, no, you guys were all stripping and stripping and stripping and stripped quite a bit. And then she was around all these men stripping and she like pulled off her shirt. Sorry, Mamie.
No, but totally. That was a surprise. We had no idea. When Mamie pulled her top off, I was like, oh.
She got the last word, and I thought that was so cool.
On that one, big time.
It was a beautiful production, and it was our first dance together. I can't wait for the next one. I hope so. I think we talked about a couple of others, but you got so busy writing, we ended up like not making it happen yet. And I want to talk about 26 Pebbles, because it's a show that I really love. And, you know, anniversaries coming up. My staff will tell you I bring it up regularly. What's 26 Pebbles?
26 Pebbles is, so it was my response to what happened in Newtown, Connecticut. And it was born of a necessity to do something more than just vent about what was happening in this country. It was right after what happened at Sandy Hook up in Newtown, those horrific murders. I just could not shake what happened, and we went from the days of possible legislation and like how could it not, like all these kids have passed away, you know, in this horrific way. I mean, where they're not passed away, sorry, murdered in this horrific way. And then we moved to legislation where you're like 97% of the country wants universal background checks. We're gonna finally make some change in this country, and then nothing happened. And then everyone decided to go against the American wishes, and it all died. And there was almost like a second death, I call it, like because people forget that all those parents who had endured such a horrific moments were clinging to this as hope that their children's death wouldn't be in vain. And then this happened. That's where I got mobilized, and I was like, I'm going to Newtown. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to Newtown. I have no clue. And,
I love that about you. You just did it.
That was, it was, it was, I was the naivete of a young man.
Well, you really connected with the community. What is, I was nervous, like when we first talked about it, because the wound was like so new, and I'm such a different place now, but it was such a really painful thing for Connecticut, for the country, for the world. I mean, it's really, but what I will say about it, which is why I keep talking about it, you managed to make it about how such a tragedy creates community and connection. But how do you promote that so people know that? Because it's a play that is in response to the shootings, but you did an awesome job with that, and it's something that we will do in some form, I know, somewhere in our future, because I feel it's really important for it to be heard. And it's a time now, and I think maybe enough space has happened that we can have the conversation around it that I think it deserves. So.
We got an anniversary coming up.
Yeah, and the community embraced it, right? I just want to say that before we move past it, because that was my concern. They embraced you, they embraced it, and they participated in it.
They embraced it, and also, what the amazing thing is this, and you're right, that the play took a form that I never thought possible. I wrote this and took it out of town, to the world premiere at the Human Race Theater in Ohio, to a place where I knew they would give it a lovely production, but I knew I was safe from New York and all that. And then Frank Rizzo, who was at the current time, Frank, he's good, that Frank.
He finds those things.
He was secretly, he was meeting up with me to he's like, I want to talk about the play. And I would just naively go meet him at a bar somewhere, and we talk about the play. And I did not think anything of this at all. And I'm usually pretty good about these things. And then opening night in Ohio, I get a text from him saying, happy opening. And it's this massive spread in American Theater Magazine that says Newtown is our town. Well, that spread got the attention of the New York Times. Then all of a sudden, I'm in the New York Times with a spread on 3 of us writing stories on gun violence based on Newtown. 3 playwrights responded to it. And then that followed up with Samuel French calling me and saying, we want this play. Can you send it to us? And then that became all these high schools and colleges doing it, which is at a rate where I remember when I was in school, Laramie, when I was in college.
The Laramie Project, it
was the thing. Everyone did Laramie. And for the last 2 years, 26 Pebbles has been one of the most produced plays in America.
Wow.
It took a trajectory I never saw, because I think you're right. People saw it's about community. It is, and I know I've used it before with the other one.
Well, I'm going on record with you when we're on the net. Theater Works really should be the place that the Connecticut connects with that story. So
I would love nothing more than that.
I know. Me too. Me too. Let's talk about Passing Through.
Yeah, my baby.
Which was beautiful. Goodspeed again. What a beautiful artistic home. It's been one for me, one for you now. A shout out to my BFF, Donalyn Hilton, and all my friends over at Goodspeed Musicals. But it was beautiful, and they gave you the space to work on your baby.
Yeah.
And that has inspired us to create a lot of space here for new and important voices. But I know you love that experience, so talk about it for a moment.
Ooh, that one was it was so it all. It's funny how work begets work, truly, and the idea that everything is just, it's one big game of dominoes, Rob. It really is. Dominoes fall, they hit each other somehow. That's a career, really. That's what it is. So I was up there. It was during Happy Fella. Happy Fella. I was starting to write 26 Pebbles during the day once we opened, because I had my days free, and those contracts at Goodspeed are long. So I had a first draft after a month of Happy Fella, and the first reading of 26 Pebbles happened at Goodspeed in their rehearsal space. They invited.
Did the cast do it? I don't remember this. Did the cast of Happy Fella do it?
Yep. Mamie, Kevin.
I apparently was not invited.
No, but there was but they had it was just like for me to hear it out loud. And then now the interesting thing is too, coming back from Newtown on my first trip, I heard a story on NPR about a young man walking across the country to understand what this all meant and to listen. And because I had not had that release of emotion yet, because I was trying to hold it in when I was there, because I was there for the people and to listen and to take in these stories, I literally pulled over on the Connecticut freeway and had like a breakdown cry because the story hit me so hard. And I remember going, oh, something about this story is important. So now I'm at Goodspeed with Pebbles. They heard it. And then come the next year, I met up with a former agent of mine. I will not say his name, but this is one of the he went to go see a concert here in New York, and there was a composer lyricist named Brett Ryback, and he's also an actor. He was in the original company of Murder for Two.
Cool.
With Jeff Blumenkrantz. And so he was in town. He lives in LA. He happened to be in town. It's also amazing how it worked out. And he heard his music and said, hey, I want to represent you. And he goes, well, I don't want an agent. And he goes, well, what do you want then? He goes, I'm looking for good book writers. And he said, I have a client I think you should meet. He sounds like your sensibility. And so he set up like a date for us to go on. Like
in person or online?
Date, yeah. So we went to Schmackery's over on 45th, and we sat outside and had coffee and some 500-calorie cookie, you know. and
it was an artist date. It's like a relationship.
We totally did. And when we were sitting out there, you know, you walk on 9th Avenue, you can't walk 2 seconds without someone being like, hey, you know.
Yeah.
There. And
I missed that, by the way. I missed that.
Me too. And everyone walking by kept going like, hey, to me, and then to see Brett go, oh my God, hey. And we realized we had all these similar friends and our worlds were kind of conjoined. And so we brought each other pieces, and I brought up the idea of passing through. And so he was like, I love this idea. And I go, hey, look, I don't mean this like a test, but go write the song that gets him out the door. What's the song that gets him out the door to go do this walk across the country? And a week later, I had a song called End of the Road. It is still in the show, word for word, moment for moment, as it was written then. And I was like, oh, this is the guy. This is the guy that's going to write this.
Wow.
And so I got an email from Donna Lynn about they have the Johnny Mercer. They renamed it recently. I forget the new name for it. I don't want to be.
I still call it the Mercer Colony, but maybe I'm wrong.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh God! Don't yell at us, Donna Lynn. We'll do our homework.
The John Theater Creation Place. I'm going to call it right now. And we sent 2 songs of Brett. We had nothing.
Wait, is this true? Is it the Grove? No. Are you just saying that? Is it called the Grove?
Oh, it's called the Grove. You're right. It is.
Oh, Michael McKiernan.
Whoever that is.
One of my team members. He's right on that.
We would have gotten in big trouble. So we were invited to come up there, and Brett sent 2 of his songs. I was like, you know my play. I don't have anything else. I just started writing. And they invited us based on the principle of the idea to this grove. And
not a colony, a grove.
Grove.
Where things grow.
Grove. And we were up there so this is amazing. We were up there with Hunter Bell working on his new piece with Stephen Aremus, and then we were up there with Michael R. Jackson working on Strange Loop. So I can tell you, I sat there and listened to Michael R. Jackson. I have read those lines. I have heard that.
Oh my God! It
was played in front of me, and I remember I turned to Brett and I grabbed.
Winner of the Pulitzer Prize. It was the beginning of it, or was it the middle of the process?
I don't know. He had a show already. He was still refining it. This was 2000.
Isn't that crazy?
This was 2015.
Wow.
So I grabbed Brett and I said, we will never write anything this good, but we will try to achieve something close. Because it blew me away. It was so incredible.
You kind of know, right? When you're in those situations, you knew. I remember a winter years and years ago that I went up to Barrington Stage in the basement of a church to hear a reading of 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. And it was in a basement in a winter night, and I went up there, and I was reading, and I knew that it was going to be like I knew it was amazing. You just know.
You just know. And was it still a play then, or was it a musical at that point?
Musical.
Oh, okay.
It was the very first time you like heard it, and it didn't change a lot. I mean, it did, I guess, if I guess you look at it closely. But it was funny and touching, and the music was great. The book was fantastic. You just knew.
Good. They have a I still like. I remember he played that song, the Memory Song, and we heard that it was a turn of phrase, like, and I'm paraphrasing now, but it was all the young gay black boys who turn away from the Lord, and then all the young gay black boys who come back to the Lord, and it's about all the boys that have died or committed suicide because and I remember I heard that, and that's when I grabbed Brett and I said, we will never write anything this good, but we'll try to achieve something close to this.
So he's like your show husband.
Who? Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like your show. He's like your show, right? We all have them. We have those relationships.
I called him yesterday, and it's funny, we had a talk just during all this. You know, like, things are hard and times are hard, and we you know, you have to. I'm very. You're the same too, so you know this. I'm very loyal. When somebody treats me well, and I know I can work with them, and I know they bring the talent, I will always bring them with me. Always.
Yeah. You try, right? It's really important, and it's fading away. So it's really important to me. Before we go, I knew this was going to, but I'm so happy. I kind of wanted to talk about you, Eric, the artist, because I know that you're very politically outspoken, but in such a generous, loving way. And so before we go to the game, okay, I do want you to share, like, I went back and reread it, your post about our RBG, and I loved your post, and you don't have to read it, but can you share the essence of it? Or I can, but I loved the way you framed it, and I was like, oh my God.
Well, we just, look, we are a country of, and a country of instant, jump right to what's important for us in the moment. And she died, and it's funny, I had 75 texts in an hour from different group threads of my friends about, like, what are we doing? We're screwed. Oh my God, the Supreme Court and all this stuff. And I sat there and I responded to a single thing. These are my friends and I love them. And because I was so pissed off, I go, a woman she's not even warm yet. You know, she's not even, like, she just passed away, and we are jumping to all the what if that. And I said, basically, this is not about him and what he's going to do. This is not about them and how they're going to vote. This is not about us and the anxiety that the cable news has whipped up in our brains into a frothy fervor of fear. This is about a woman named Ruth. And then I went on to list what she did, but also the idea of, like, a couple of things that people forget, like the fact that, you know, like, I always loved the love story of her and her husband. Like, she loved her husband so much, and she was crazy about him, and they were this fun, lovely, like, couple who just supported each other, and she was, you know, and then also the relationship between her and Scalia, which we forget. And I said, like, I go, and the fact that she had a relationship, I go, that to us seems impossible, but she made it possible, you know, and so it was.
Well, you gave me great comfort, because, like, Tanisha and I were texting the next day, and I was so entrenched in all the stuff that's going on here. I didn't even know. And she's like, what do you think? And I was like, what? She goes, what planet do you live on that you don't know? But we went back and forth, and I started to feel that anxiety. And you don't know this, but it's interesting, because we already knew you were coming on, I think, at that point. But your post actually gave me great comfort and perspective. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. It's hard, you know. We have to keep reminding ourselves in these last days before the election that if we start to act unlike ourselves and the characteristics and I say this as a Democrat and whatever, unlike ourselves and the characteristics that that I personally am, why I'm a part of that party. If we start to shatter all of that just to win and just so that, then what are we doing in the end?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Better to
Really smart.
that's my thought is play the long game.
On that note, we're going to play a game.
Oh shit.
That was perfect. Okay, so this game, in honor of Stu, is called Passing Strange. But Passing Through is based on the true story of a young man who hiked across America on a listening tour to find direction. We're going to take you on a tour on what he might have encountered. I'm going to tell you about a site that he may have seen on his journey. You need to tell me if it really exists or not.
Okay.
Okay? So you just have to say true or false.
Okay.
You ready? So the first one is York, Pennsylvania, and it's a thing called Shoe House. On Shoe House Road, this shoe-shaped house and matching shoe-shaped dog house was built by a shoe salesman. The 5-story home is open to the public for tours. True or false? Does Shoe House exist?
America's weird, so I want to say true.
Ding, ding, ding. I need sound effects. Correct, Eric. Next one is Bowman, South Carolina, and it's called UFO Welcome Center. A UFO Welcome Center in the Midlands of South Carolina that is intended to be a safe space for aliens and humans to meet. It's built of scrap metals and junk metal. It includes a shower, toilet, air conditioning for the possible long ride into space. True or false? UFO Welcome Center.
I don't know why it would be in that area, so I'm going to say false.
It's true. 1 and 1. Okay. Next one. It's good, right? Eric did this.
That's good.
He got you. Nails to Trails, Birmingham, Alabama. These like after the 2016 drop in the nail salon market, resourceful and out-of-work manicurists in Birmingham, Alabama gathered their stock of nail polish and repainted the milestones and wayfinding signs in Black Creek Park, converting it to a whatever you call it, a thing you visit called Nails to Trails. True or false?
False?
Yes.
Yes.
You're correct. 2 correct, 1 wrong. All right, here we go. We're almost done. Nicolas Cage's Pyramid Tomb, New Orleans, Louisiana. Possibly an homage to his movie National Treasure, Nicolas Cage owns an empty 9-foot-tall pyramid tomb with the Latin inscription, "Everything from One." Nicolas Cage's Pyramid Tomb. True or false?
He's so weird, but I want to say false.
It's true.
I knew it.
Too bad. Too good. Too correct. 2 incorrect. So here's the tiebreaker. It's the last one. It's called Foiled Again, Tempe, Arizona. It started innocently when Arizona State University students began affixing the protective peel-back covers from yogurt to a gazebo on East University Drive. The Dannon decoupage now covers over 1,200 square feet of wall and fencing, about 2 billboards worth of space. So it's like walls and fencing covered with yogurt foil covers, called Dannon decoupage in Tempe, Arizona. True or false?
I want to say true.
Oh, false.
Oh, no, they know someone did something similar. It's like a Three Musketeers wrapper or something.
Yeah, well, you know what's so crazy? When like the ones that are true are as crazy as the ones that are false.
Oh, the Nicolas Cage one sounds insane.
But isn't it it was a cool idea, Eric's idea for a game based kind of inspired by your character and Passing Through. So you got a new game. Share it with your friends.
That's amazing.
Eric, I'm gonna say it. Ulloa. What?
Ulloa.
Say it. Oh my God, I have to learn this. I've known you for a decade.
Here's what I think we should do. We should do a show at TheaterWorks together, and then we'll learn it that way.
Deal. You know, because it's like my name is Ruggiero. Everybody says Ruggiero. The Italian is Ruggiero. And no one says it. Rob Ruggiero. So I have to go to school.
Rob,
because it's a beautiful name. What?
We have so many years of friendship ahead. We're gonna get it.
All right. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And I so value and love you as a person, as an artist. You inspire me.
Thank you,
I
Rob.
really mean that. And yes, theater works soon.
And yes, congrats on your opening night of your new season.
Oh my God. Yeah, call me. I'll give you a membership.
I can't
Everyone
wait.
else has got to buy it.
I can't wait to watch it.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for leaving your writer's room. Know that we are a future home for you to have some creative space in some way. I love you. Talk to you soon. Be safe.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Sorry to pitch so hard, but your memberships are what are going to get us through the 2021 season. If you are not a member, consider it. It's completely cancelable month to month, or you can buy for the year. twhartford.org. You can also buy single ticket streams. We have a really interesting, eclectic journey ahead for you that I think will be really amazing. I'll be back next month, the week before we start streaming Russian Troll Farm. I hope you'll join me in my kitchen. Be safe, be well, and I always do this because I'm a big believer. Wear a mask. It's going to get us to the other side of this. Ciao.